Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
The song that you are currently listening to is called On the Come Up. It's the latest single release by AMAC and the Height, who will be coming to perform very soon at the Nederland Farmers Market Harvest Festival. Stay tuned for a mini segment of today's podcast episode to learn more about the Harvest Festival. For more information about AMAC and the Height, be sure to head to their website, amacandtheheight.com.
I get lost to find myself and then I fall hard cause I don't listen. All the lessons left on the shelf and then I move fast, but all around me are the people living out my dream, and then I fall hard and fail discreetly, silently fall through the seams. Well, I'm a break down the feeling
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to the Mountain Ear Podcast. Today, I've got a regular segment for you brought to you by our correspondent, Maryann Rosen. I've also got a mini segment of the podcast right about in the middle of the episode, so stay tuned if you want to learn more about the Nederland Farmers Market Harvest Festival. Before we get started with Maryann's segment, if you haven't subscribed to the Mountaineer and you want to support local news from peak to peak, be sure to head to the mtnear.com and click on the subscribe button in the top right corner of our homepage. From there, you'll get full access to our digital archives and scanned copies of our physical newspaper, and you can choose to send a physical subscription to your mailbox or to the mailbox of someone that you love. If you're interested in being involved in the newspaper and or the podcast in any way, shape, or form, then be sure to email our editor-in-chief, Barbara Hardt, at info@themountaineer.com, myself at media@themountaineer.com, or frontdesk@themountaineer.com, and we'll get something sorted for you. You can also head to the mtnear.com/advertise to learn about the available advertising packages. And finally, our top story today, brought to you by Brittany Wagner.
Our top story today comes from Mindy Leary. Gilpin murder case finally resolved. A first judicial district court judge on September 12th sentenced James Bittner to 24 years in the Colorado Department of Corrections for second-degree murder, followed by 5 years of parole. The decedent was his adoptive father, James Bittner. Bittner, who was 18 at the time of the November 2023 offense, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, a Class II felony. Prosecutors said the killing occurred inside a home the victim shared with Bittner. The body was taken to a remote area near Mirror Lake, Wyoming, and buried in a shallow grave. The court heard that Bittner and Jason Schuyler Silva Babcock tried to conceal the crime and solicited help from Nicholas Stone shortly after the killing. When their vehicle later ran out of gas, they summoned a friend and, according to prosecutors, used the victim's gold coins to pay for fuel. Thousands of dollars in coins were later pawned to fund Bittner's lifestyle after the death, prosecutors said. For the full story, you can find it in this week's Mountaineer or at themountaineer.com.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for bringing us our top story. And now, it's time to bring in our regular correspondent, Maryann Rosen.
This is the Mountain Ear Podcast, and I'm Maryann Rosen, bringing you history, lore, or stories from or about the mountains you live in. The weather is cooling, the leaves are changing, the days are growing shorter, allowing for long, dark nights. October is upon us, and with it, our thoughts may turn to the baseball playoffs and the World Series, to fall activities, to autumn harvests, foods and fruits, to Halloween or Samhain, and also to the eeriness of the season. Our peak-to-peak area certainly has its share of haunted places and preternatural happenings. Tying into the unearthliness of the area and season, there are some upcoming activities, mostly in the Central City area. October 4th and 5th are the dates for the annual Pumpkin Patch, a great way to get into the October mood. Come out and enjoy pumpkin decorating, a scavenger hunt, games, and trunk or treat. Costumes are encouraged. Dare to explore Central City's mysterious and ghostly past. Enjoy a paranormal adventure on October 11th at the Central City Opera Haunted History Tour. The evening begins with signature cocktails in the historic and notably haunted Teller House, where the veil between worlds grows thin. Following cocktails, we have personal tarot card readings before heading out on a private walking tour of Central City's most ghostly landmarks. Are you afraid of ghosts? If not, join in the 16th annual Creepy Crawl on October 17th, 18th, 24th, or 25th. 90-minute tours begin at 6:30 and leave every 30 minutes. Meet at the Century Casino and visit historic buildings in Central City and hear ghost stories and other creepy tales from Gilpin County's past, with some mysteries prevailing to this very day. Tours are led by historians from the Gilpin Historical Society. On October 31st, head to the Stage Stop in Rollinsville for a spooky dance party in the backyard of the historic and haunted Stage Stop. If formal activities and tours are not for you, explore the area on your own. In Gilpin County alone, there are 13 named cemeteries and several lone burial sites. Add to that cemeteries in Nederland, Allens Park, and Estes Park, and one can spend October browsing these historic resting places of many pioneers and miners, many of them haunted. There are also other unearthly venues in the peak-to-peak area to explore. Taking moonlit walks around any cemetery makes for an uncanny, ghostly experience. Touring the many cemeteries of Central City, Blackhawk, will make the hair on your arms stand up. The Central City Cemetery is thought to have one of the most beautiful autumn hikes close to Denver. The cemetery is spread out along the mountainside and has spectacular panoramic views. Central City Cemetery, along with the Masonic Cemetery with which it shares space, is also considered one of the most haunted places in Colorado. While the mountains and meadows make these cemeteries seem peaceful, ominous reports of spirits, sounds, shadows, and lights abound. Central City Cemetery was used from 1884 to 1913 and houses some of the area's earliest residents. Individuals and families from other nearby abandoned towns were also buried here. So many younger people rest in peace here as well. They came to find riches, but found a short, hard life instead. Perhaps it is their restless souls who are caught in the liminal space between life and death who one senses, sees, or hears while visiting. The Masonic Cemetery, which is located within the confines of the Central City Cemetery, is straight out of an old Western film. Overgrown with desert grasses, it sits atop a large knoll overlooking the hillsides of Colorado. It was created shortly after gold brought a rush of miners into the area in the early 1850s, as was the Central City Cemetery. Mining was and is dangerous work, and many original miners of the area, along with loved ones, now reside here. Visitors to the overgrown cemetery report bright orbs and sinister, shadowy figures. One may also encounter the Lady in Black, a spirit who is said to visit and leave flowers at the headstone of one John Cameron. Many theories have been put forth as to the background of Mr. Cameron and this mirage in black. Another graveyard worth exploring is the Independent Order of the Oddfellows Cemetery. Walking around, you will see body mounds curving skyward, and according to some, ghostly spirits lurk among the grounds. We will be heading back to walk amongst the otherworldly and mysterious after the following messages.
And now, for our mini-segment of today's podcast episode. Our guest this time around. Do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Yes, my name is Daisza, and I'm the market manager for the Nederland Farmers Market. I'm co-leading this year with Jazz, and we have a third teammate. He is Kip, and he's a little bit more behind the scenes, but very much involved. He does a lot of our produce purchasing and gathering our produce to sell at our booth.
And you guys are almost finished preparing the annual End of Nederland Farmers Market event, the Farmers Market Harvest Festival.
Yes. A pretty big project. This year we have about 80 vendors, and we'll have 2nd Street closed off. We'll have our regular big market area open, and then the upper lot where the alpaca store will also have vendors this year, which is really awesome. So it's a bigger harvest fest than we've had in the past, which is awesome. So we're excited to be able to add more vendors and just add more for our community.
So what's it been like organizing this year's Harvest Festival? What's the process been for organizing it?
There's a lot that goes into it, but nothing we can't handle. And it's something that's planned about a year in advance. So we have plenty of time to get things ready. And now that it's the week of, or I guess we're like 2 days away, it's kind of like crunch time. So we've all got Harvest Fest on our minds, and our regular seasoned market vendors will be there, along with a bunch of additional local artisans, food trucks, agricultural booths. Yeah.
And how long have you been involved in organizing the Nederland Farmers Market?
So this is my first year. It was an interesting start to the year because I came on as the market manager at the beginning of the middle of the season. So I kind of got thrown in a good way to be in this role. So this is my first year, and it's been very awesome to be a part of feeding the community, having the community come together, and see friendly faces every Sunday, as well as have a mini market. So that's really cool, too, because in addition to our big market, we have a mini market, which is really awesome. So you have access to local food for, almost like 6 to 8 months of the year, every Sunday, which is really awesome.
And what's been exciting for you about being a part of the organization process of particularly the Harvest Festival?
Oh, it's been so awesome. It's so rewarding in the best way. Again, to bring fresh produce up here and to feed the community that I am so involved in, it's really special to be a part of. And I have really great teammates that we all support each other and have really awesome ideas and are always looking for ways to get the community more involved, how we can have fresh produce all the time. And to see all of it come together within this season has been nothing short of magic. And I am someone that takes a lot of pride in having access to fresh produce. I'm from California, so it was a luxury to be able to have that all the time. So it kind of feels in a way that I get to give a little bit of home to Ned here, if that makes sense.
Does planning the Harvest Festival feel different from planning the rest of the farmers market events throughout the year?
It definitely does, because it is the last big market of the season. It's a little bittersweet. It's exciting because it's the last one, but it's like a little bit sad. I don't want it to end, just because I enjoy seeing everyone every Sunday, and it's going to be fun. It's just going to be a really big party to celebrate the end of the farmers market, which isn't really the end because we have 2 mini markets after Harvest Fest. So we've still got a little bit of farmers market in there before it officially ends. And we'll also have a holiday market closer to Thanksgiving, which will be awesome.
And what are you most excited about when it comes to this year's Harvest Festival?
I'm excited for the music and to just be with my community and celebrate and have fun.
And is there anything else you want to make sure people know about this year's Harvest Festival?
That's a good question. I want people to know that we do this for our community, and that's our main goal, is to celebrate with them. And it's also a celebration for the farmers market in general. And being a nonprofit, we don't make a ton of money. So this is all for our people, and we want to share the end of the season with them.
Thank you so much, Daisza, for coming on board to talk about this year's Harvest Festival. The Harvest Festival will occur tomorrow, Sunday, October 5th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 80 East 2nd Street and 85 East 1st Street in Nederland. Bear Hat will be performing live music from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., followed by AMAC and the Height from 1:30 to 4 p.m.
We are back and heading across the street from the Oddfellows Cemetery to the burial ground of a secret society. A spooky and unique entry gate opens to a wooded area with some creative tombstones. This creepy graveyard is the Knights of Pythias Cemetery. The grounds, surrounded by other cemeteries, houses a handful of older graves, all backdropped by spectacular views of the Rocky Mountains. Some graves are surrounded by small fences topped with Tesla balls as a nod to Nikola Tesla, who built an experimental station in a nearby town. The Knights of Pythias Cemetery is certainly a great place for an after-dark flashlight tour. Though, if visiting during the day, it is amazing seeing the beautiful vista the same way that the pioneers did in the 1800s. Located near the ghost town of Nevadaville lay a small burial ground. The Bald Mountain Cemetery is a remote graveyard which sits on top of a hill tucked into a forest. While visiting Bald Mountain, one may encounter the ghost of the cemetery, Estill Slater. When Slater died, his parents put a photograph of him on his tomb. Many think that it is very peculiar that the picture has remained intact for over 100 years, protected from the harsh Colorado winters. On moonlit nights, at a certain angle, Slater is said to be seen standing in the darkness, giving onlookers a real fright. The glass on his grave makes him glow. Then there is the Green Witch of Bald Mountain. If you smell rotting flesh, run before the witch appears in a green misty fog and places maggots at your feet. Redmond Lodge Cemetery is a historic one known for its preserved headstones and rich cultural architecture. Caribou Cemetery outside of Nederland is located in a ghost town, and Idaho Springs Old Cemetery shows no traces of what was when all of the bodies were moved in 1874 to the new Idaho Springs Cemetery. These are only some of the many cemeteries to visit this October. Cemeteries, however, are not the only haunted places along the Peak to Peak. There are too many to mention, but we will visit a few possessed venues. The previously mentioned Teller House is a 4-story Romanesque revival hotel. Built in 1872 by brothers Henry and Willard Teller, it was once the largest hotel outside of Denver. Now owned by the Central City Opera, it serves as a cultural club, restaurant, bar, and event spaces. Many people who have gone there report hearing strange laughter, loud noises, bells ringing, and footsteps. A house built in 1863 and turned museum, the Lace House, has a few rather loud spirits. Disembodied footsteps are heard pacing, and shadowy figures follow guests around. Over in the haunted hotel and casino, the Gilpin, a spectral woman named Lucille roams the building. At one time, the Gilpin used to house a one-room schoolhouse where Lucille taught. After learning that her boyfriend had perished in a freak accident, Lucille jumped to her death at the hotel, where she still hangs out. Of course, there is all of the eerie, supernatural hauntings that occur at the Stanley Hotel, which inspired Stephen King's The Shining. The very haunted Central City Opera House and the Stage Stop are not to be missed. And over in Ward, the Millsite Inn is said to be home to spirits. A resident reported seeing an entity swirling around a cabin and sitting in an Adirondack chair after paranormal investigators visited the location. There is a theory that the investigators may have disturbed something, like disturbed spirits. Idaho Springs has a reputation for being haunted due to its history as a gold mining town. Places in and around the city are known for ghostly encounters, including the Indian Hot Springs and the Phoenix Gold Mine. Some call the hot springs spooky, interesting, and creepy, especially in the caves and hallways. The Phoenix Gold Mine is an active mine that offers tours with stories of strange happenings, local legends, and a malicious spirit known as a Tommyknocker. Whether you enjoy more structured activities or touring on one's own, October in the Peak to Peak is a wonderful place to enjoy eerie activities. Happy haunting. Listen in next time to the Mountain Ear Podcast for more mountain history, lore, or stories. I'm Maryann Rosen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Maryann, for bringing us another great segment. We'll see you guys very soon. I'll be back with another episode of Music of the Mountains very soon. In the meantime, if you want to share this episode or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com and scroll near to the bottom of the homepage, or head to our podcast's main hub at the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com to see a full archive of all of our episodes. Again, if you're interested in being involved in the newspaper or the podcast in any way, be sure to email info@themountaineer.com, media@themountaineer.com, or frontdesk@themountaineer.com, and we'll get something sorted for you. And finally, be sure to find all of our most important links at the top of our homepage or in any individual episode description of our podcast, where you can find our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and our events calendar, where you can submit local events coming to your venue or to the community. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. The song that you are currently listening to is called Smile, and it's a single released by the band AMAC and the Height, who will be coming to perform at the Nederland Farmers Market Harvest Festival tomorrow, Sunday, October 5th, 2025, located at 85 East 1st Street and 80 East 2nd Street. The Harvest Festival will go from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Their Hat will perform music from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and AMAC and the Height will follow from 1:30 to 4 p.m. To learn more about AMAC and the Height, be sure to head to their website at amacandtheheight.com. Boy, I can't touch no ground, feel like I'm lost and found, dancing up in the clouds, hoping I don't come down. Hey. Been
forgot what it feels like. Never ever thought I'd see your eyes looking at me from the inside. If it ain't meant to be, well then I'm blind. Yeah, I never ever thought.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.